welcome back to the Wonder Creative Podcast. I'm here with what?
Nothing.
I'm here with one of my most sweetest friends ever, Olivia Brock, and if you've been like a true, I guess, Wonder Creative
OG.
Yeah, you'll know that we did her branding last year, so it's been like over a year ago. Mm-hmm. Launched her brand last year, and she's just been in a lot of different, I feel like you've just infiltrated every area of my life. I feel like you do that with people.
Pop up around the corner.
Yeah. Today, I'm really excited because I value our friendship, and I value your mind, your creative mind, and I think it'll just be fun to get into some of these questions today.
Yes.
But what has made you happy recently?
Wow, recently, I know. I recently moved into my own apartment, and that's been a dream come true for me. And it's kind of like in the city of Covington, and it's super close, and I have loved just having people over and I don't know, hosting people and throwing fun, cute little parties, all those things. So
yes, living on your own is magical.
Yes.
I remember whenever I moved into my first apartment, and it was the best of times and the worst of times.
Yes. Yes.
But it was, I mean, like, it was
pros
good.
and cons.
It was good because I think it, I don't know. I think there's a lot of like deep inner work that you can do whenever you're living on your own.
Yes.
Wow, there's a lot of outside noise. And it's so cute in here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me over and inviting all of us into your space. So we did your project last year with All Things Liv. So tell me about like why All Things Liv was important to you, and just a little bit about like that project, why you started it.
So originally, way back, it was at first Honey Doodles was what first business I had, which you did help me with that website as well. So that was just kind of like a creative outlet for me. I created like stickers and prints, and kind of similar to what I'm doing now. It just looked a little bit different. And then I more so felt to shift it into more of a lifestyle type thing, because I felt like there was more to me that I wanted to express and didn't feel like I could do it through that platform. Yeah. And I felt like for All Things Liv, I just randomly changed my Instagram name one day to that, and I was like, whoa, this like really feels like...
Where did All Things Liv come from?
I literally just
I
was just like, I have, like, my name feels more like Liv than it does Olivia. And then just the All Things Liv, and there's like a play on words there, but I feel like it's like 100% who I am. And then after that, it just kind of was this whole like, these ideas of like, oh, what if I had a blog, and what if I changed all of my branding to something that I really feel like represents who I am as a person. Yeah. And it's interesting because a lot of the colors on my website are green. A lot of my branding colors are green. And like looking back on my childhood, it's literally like I was obsessed with green and pink, which is like my color of the year for this year. But just looking back, it's like, oh, that's always who I've been. It's just now like coming back around to realizing, oh, this has like been in me the whole time. Yeah. It's just like finding permission to express that.
Yeah. So like just coming alive, fully alive you.
And who I've always been.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So have you always been creative?
Yes. No doubt, have always been creative.
How so?
And like growing up, I had a little nook under the staircase of all my craft supplies. And
this is so, I'm already like, yeah, this is so
I feel like Harry Potter under the stairs.
But it's crafting.
Yeah, but literally crafting. I'm not doing spells or anything.
No.
But
you are magical.
So I had my craft section, and I had sticker books, and like I collected stickers. My mom would literally keep like junk, like literally leftover cereal boxes or like random things so that I could craft with it. Like I just loved like creating like cute little boxes with like, and I still, like, if you gave me something, I would thrive just to sit here and like create something random.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was always really a part of me. And then I kind of felt like as I got older, it never left, but it kind of like died down because I wasn't around people who stewarded the creative world and like, or the creativity on the inside of them, I should say.
Or
yes,
maybe you too.
Yeah, like, or like encouraging me and it's almost seen as like something that's childish when I really feel like it was so authentic to who I was. And so I feel like now that I'm surrounded by a lot of creatives and glean from a lot of like other voices too that are just inspire me, I feel like it's been so much permission.
So, and then you also did, this is something we have in common, you also did theater.
Yes.
So like, what was your journey with that? Like, why did you get into that?
Well, theater, yeah, that's been my whole life. Not anymore though, sadly. We need to start a freaking
Don't
theater.
worry, I'm getting right on it. As soon as I can, find some extra time, I'm gonna start
all the time we have on hand.
Yeah, I'm gonna start a theater company.
So yeah, I've done theater my whole life, been extra my whole life, and just really valued the arts in that way. I love singing. I was always in choir, doing all of that, but it's just a way to express who I am.
Yeah.
And like the life, like I've always been that person. I like just feel life like bursting at my seams. And so
like your illustration.
Yeah, literally like the heart that's exploding with life is like how I feel on the inside. And not that I don't struggle with things, but it's like I literally just feel bursting like with life and expectancy and hope. And I feel like that's just in my creative outlets. It's been just a way for me to do that.
Are you the kind of person where it's like if you are feeling some sort of emotion, it's like very evident? Or are you able to like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't feel like I show necessarily that to a lot of people, but I've always been the person who feels things on a very deep level, whether I express that or not. And that's actually something I've been learning recently, how to like bring those things in honesty to the Lord and not, I don't love the whole thing of like, right now it's trendy to be anxious on the internet and it's trendy to be depressed and all these things. And I think that I know all of those emotions are very real and some of them I've dealt with. Sorry, I got deep real quick.
It's good.
This is what it's about. Yeah. When you're dealing with anxiety or depression, whatever it is, it's like, how do you create from that place? Or what I feel like I've been shown recently is like, is that a time where maybe I don't create, and it's just I let love like hold me in that moment, and it's not like I'm creating songs or I'm creating poetry from a place of like anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
It's like, no, those are the times where I just step back and I'm like, I need a moment.
Yeah.
I do really feel deeply, but at the same time, it's not going to be things I show to everyone or post on the internet.
Yeah.
Or like I do feel things on a very deep level. It's just like having to learn to step away from either the internet or like, and just realign my heart and say like, what is it that I'm feeling? Because sometimes it's hard for me to even identify those things. Like we can sometimes be so disconnected from emotions,
right?
And we just want to say it's like all fine and just look at the Lord, which I do. But at the same time, it's like how I feel like the only way I can come and deal with those things is to do it honestly.
Yes.
And to actually admit them.
Yeah.
And like say, no, this is how I really feel. This past week I had to do it. And immediately when I did it, he met me in that moment. And it's like he wasn't able to meet the fake me. He only was talking to the one that was like, here I am.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
This is where I'm at.
Did he not make us emotional beings?
Right.
Like, did he not create that part of us?
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I feel like that's like a good segue into the question of like, what does it mean to create from wholeness? Because that's like even one of the things that we have on your website,
Yeah.
like that you say.
Yeah.
So I'm sure some people are probably curious what you mean by that.
So for me, I would ask myself the question first of like, what is it not? Because
Okay.
like looking at, if you don't know, I write poetry, blogs, music. I love to write music, things like that. So,
Probably should have mentioned that first.
but yeah,
But
so that's what I do.
My fault.
No, it's fine. In all of that, I look at maybe other artists that, I do write about the Lord a lot because it's hard for me not to.
of course.
And so looking at other maybe Christian artists or just artists in general, they do write from a place of like a broken heart or that anxious place or like the struggle. And again, I know those feelings are justified and real and people walk through crap, and I get that. And it's no judgment against that. But I feel like for me, the way I've seen it, and maybe I'm learning in this too, so I could be, changing my thoughts a couple years from now. But like, the only way to get out of that is not to like write from that place, but like get a higher perspective on it, and maybe not creating in those times where I'm feeling that really deep emotion, and just allowing love to hold me. Then I'm just gonna sit in those moments, and then outside of that, I feel like one of my favorite things that I have created is the you already are who you are becoming. And it was such a simple post
for a lot of people. Love that one.
It was literally such a simple post for me. Like there's ones that have a lot more to it, but that one was literally just the words I wrote out. And it's just like, again, looking back at my life, okay, I've always been a creative. I've always been obsessed with the color green. Like all these things that might seem simple and stupid to other people, it's like looking back and recognizing I've always been that. I've always been whole. And that's like why I feel this life bursting at the seams, is because I'm not creating from a broken heart.
Yeah.
I've been through things, but at the end of the day, my heart is whole, and I'm learning more so what that looks like day to day.
I think it's really interesting because like whenever I like after Christmas, I shared this on the podcast, but like after Christmas, I'd had like some really painful stuff come up for me. And I felt broken, like my heart was breaking, like I was literally grieving. And but then I felt like really, it wasn't initially, but like after kind of like a few days of just feeling this pain, I felt like inspired to go create something because I just felt like I needed a release. Was that creating from brokenness? No. I wasn't leaning into my brokenness for inspiration.
Right.
But I was more so inspired by like, even in my brokenness, like how much love I still felt.
Right.
I was still able to create something like really meaningful.
Right.
Which was my website, which is like kind of random,
Yeah.
but also not random. Like it was such like a deep thing I was going through, and I was like, I want to make my website. But
that's not
it's
creating
just,
from brokenness.
Normally like I go to the piano or something like whenever I'm feeling like all these like deep feels, because I feel like that's what feels most natural to me whenever I want to create. But for some reason I went to my computer, and then it just like I just like listened to music and was just creating, and I was like, wow. But I think that's the difference. Like when it comes to creating from wholeness or creating from brokenness, it's like you can still be emotional, you can still feel brokenhearted.
Yeah.
As long as it's from the reality of God is near in that moment.
Yes.
That truth that we have, that He is near to the brokenhearted. If you can lean into that rather than I'm so broken, I'm so
anxious, I'm so depressed. No, like you're
and
so
you
loved.
can even talk about those things but still have that greater reality of, but He's so near to me. I think that's like huge for creatives across the board, however you create, whether it doesn't have to be any sort of way specifically, but I feel like that's a really big deal because you're right, we do see that everywhere now. yeah, you're so full of life, and I love how you express yourself, and I love how you are confident. Do you ever not feel confident whenever you share with the world, like the bursting at the seams? Like, do you ever like feel unsure or doubt yourself or have imposter syndrome, quote unquote? Like, does that ever come up?
I feel like more so now, not as much, because I've learned to get my like affirmations from the Lord, and then like I don't post everything I write on the internet or on my blog page.
Very good.
Yeah, very good.
It should not all be posted.
Right. Learn to like just kind of be led on what to share with other people, even in just conversation. And some people, like, I feel like if I share those things, I'm doing them sometimes would be doing them a disservice, because I don't feel like I have my own walk with the Lord and my own mystery I'm discovering in Him, and sometimes to like open that door to people that aren't ready for it or maybe don't even want it,
right?
Then I'm not gonna,
couldn't honor it
appropriately. So
yeah,
that's why I don't share everything, because it really, the things I do write are really precious to me, and so I've kind of had to learn, like, even when I do share something, it's like, share it and then just walk away. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, don't like dwell on it.
I'm not going to say, oh my God, who's
and
liking
watch the
this?
like, yeah.
Yeah, just turn off those freaking, where you can't even see the number. And I'm like, and even now, like, I don't have a massive following on social media, and I won't feel sad if at the end of my life it never got big. Yeah. Like, that's not a source not your goal for me. And if I get to feed the people that are around me, then that's amazing. Like, I'm not looking for numbers, because a lot of times that has little impact.
Yeah.
When it's impacting that many people, it's like, and if that happens, awesome. But like, if it doesn't, that won't move me either way. Something
that I've thought about is, if I wasn't doing this, if I wasn't doing Wonder Creative, what would I be doing? It's like, I probably would still be doing something that is expressive,
right?
Expressing my heart, because I've just always been that way. Right. Like, I can relate to a lot of what you say, like just feeling like it's bursting out of you. And then even like before we started recording, we were talking about like how as a child, like, I don't always feel like that was honored in me, or like I was made fun of for being the theater kid, for being dramatic, for being too much. And I can even like see like traits of that in Asher, and I'm like, I will celebrate this so hard, because I know he's not doing things for attention. Like, he's not attention seeking in it. I mean, maybe because I'm his mom and like he wants my attention. Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I think
he's not wrong for that.
I think even like, I don't even think that doing some things for attention is wrong, but I think doing things and knowing you're going to get attention for it isn't a bad thing necessarily. If you have the wrong spirit about it, then yes, it is. But like, if we can't be confident and like okay with that, I heard Lady Gaga say something, and I was like, this is truth. She was like, when someone like compliments my work, I don't get like, I'm confident. I'm like, in her heart, she's like, I know it's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I need more. I personally need to lean more into that, because I lean on the other side where it's like, this is dumb.
Woe is me.
Woe is me. And it's like, embrace that confidence. Like, I love that you do that.
Yeah. I feel like there's like a shame attached to being too much, even as like a female, and just being extra or being dramatic,
be called emotional.
You're too much. Like, you're too much for me. And what father?
Go find less.
Right. But what father would say that to their son or daughter?
No.
Like, like what kind of father would be like, I created you and you're too much.
You're too much for me. Yeah.
And I feel like I have just watched the Lord like go back over even my childhood. I'm like standing on a stage, and he's like, perfect. And he sees me like sitting under the staircase creating something out of a freaking cereal box, and he's just like, perfect.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm learning as beloved to see like the Lord's delight in exactly how he created me, and learning things that people have called flaws or being dramatic, and it's like I see his delight, and that's my source. And so when I create from that place of a beloved place, it's like I don't get my affirmations from people on the internet. Like that is extra, and I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that is feeding, like what I create is feeding you or blessing you in whatever way.
Yeah.
Like, yes, that really like moves me, but at the end of the day, my source comes from the Lord's delight over me. And just looking back, it's been like the greatest joy to just see him go into every area and be like, it's perfect.
It's a joy to see, like, even how you've grown in the last year and a half. Like
the past 3 years of my life have been major growth spurt. And I mean, hard things and really great things, but it's been like major growth.
What do you think has grown you the most?
Learning to do life with people, learning to have spiritual authority in my life that I've allowed to speak to those hard places, having friends in my life who speak to those hard places, and the good places too, allowing them to celebrate me, allowing people to love me well. I
By
think
spiritual authority, explain what that is, just in case some people don't know.
They're like a mother and a father to me.
And they just, go
ahead. But they just, I have given them full access to my life and to speak to whatever needs to be spoken to, and to encourage whatever is the real me. And I feel like they see me for who I am. And it's just something I've been, that's why I moved here, to have those voices in my life. I felt like the Lord led me here for that reason, and to be under them, which, some people see as like restriction, but it really is so much permission when you have those people in your life who can call you out and who can celebrate you.
Yes.
And it's more so been celebration, honestly. There's been hard things, but we are a family of like, we literally celebrate people so hard. Learning I can't do it by myself. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and they were just talking about, like, as a creative, you almost want to hide away and fix yourself. And the first week I was here, someone in my life literally looked at me and said, keep it messy. Like, the Lord wants it messy. And that has always stuck with me, because it's like he doesn't want me to hide away and fix myself. It's more so looked like seeing his delight over even the areas I struggle in. And
it's like I was talking to somebody, and we were talking about like having people over. Like, I get really stressed out having people over. It depends. But like, if like I feel like the pressure to clean up my house, to have everything perfect, but then there are times whenever I go to other people's houses, and when I get there, like, there's stuff laid out and whatever, and I feel so like at peace, because I'm like, oh, like, they can be themselves with me,
right?
And like, it also makes me feel like I don't have to have it all together all the time, and it breaks down like that wall of thinking that everybody's got it together but me.
Yes.
And like, I think sometimes we fall into that trap too. I'm the only one that's a mess, and it's like, no, I think we're all messy people.
Right. And even this past week, I was just journaling with the Lord, and just writing like very raw emotions of how I was feeling, because that's something I'm learning to do, is like actually figure out what's happening on the inside of me.
Right.
And in all of it, I was being very blunt with the Lord. Like, there was no hiding anything. And all of it. And then someone after that spoke into my life, like confirmation of what I had just, like, it was a bunch of lies I wrote down, and then their voice spoke into my life, and it was like truth. And it all aligned with the lies that I was confronting. And in that moment, I felt like the Lord was like, all I ever craved from you was an honest heart. Be completely yourself with me, and not try to cover it up. Don't put makeup on it. Don't try to mask it. Just literally, this is how I feel. And when I have that honest heart with the Lord, he literally meets me there. Like, it's our union point of like, this is where we meet.
Yeah.
In honesty.
Yeah.
So sorry to get off on a tangent.
No,
but
I love the tangents. So what inspires you? And what does it mean to be inspired for you?
Okay.
As someone who lives creatively, I would say that your whole entire life is art.
Yes.
And creative living. So like, what is that? What is that for you?
I think in this season it's looked a little bit different because I do have 2 other jobs that I currently, a lot of creatives don't like to talk. They're like, I'm just a creative and I don't also have to work my butt off over here.
Doodle and
right.
No. Doodling is important.
Doodling
we love doodles.
Isn't very important.
It has paved the way for you, my dear.
It's still very much a part of me. I feel like there's doodles everywhere in my life.
Yes, you are a doodle.
Doodles and pom-poms. But, so I do have 2 other jobs. And I'm a very, hard worker and have had to spend, I don't know why I said that.
You are very hard.
Yes, she is. If her boss is listening, she's a very hard worker.
But also, I know because you worked for me for a little bit. So
Yes,
I know your work ethic is top notch.
I don't know why I said that. But I've had to recently spend some of my creativity in working for other people, which is not, a dream come true. It's not my goal at the end of the day to work for someone else.
Sure.
But it's what life looks like right now. And honestly, I've enjoyed both of the jobs that I have greatly. So, but inspiration has looked a little bit different in this season is what I'm trying to get at, is because I haven't had as much time as I've wanted to spend into the blogs I write or songs, whatever.
Yeah.
And I've had to kind of just let it be what it is. And even you posted about it yesterday, I believe, just you can't do everything. And so just right now it's I think it's just looked a little bit different.
Yeah.
In that sense, I'm learning to prioritize the things like my creativity and what it can be so easy to just push that to the back burner.
Yeah.
Because when you have other jobs and other things that are making you money, it's easy to just be oh, well, this can just be for next week, when it's no, that's really important to my heart. I need to prioritize that. Things that inspire me, just specific people. Stephanie Gretzinger. I don't know if people know who these people are.
She's a worship leader.
Worship leader, yeah. She's
or
not
used
at
to.
Bethel. Yeah.
Used to be.
Don't really know where she is now.
Just
Just really
does.
glean from her life. And Melissa Helser, someone who she is worship leader and what is she, a pastor? I don't really know what her title is there. Yeah. They just have a creative expression in North Carolina. And then people that surround me, just in this family, you inspire me greatly. Even though what we do is a lot different, I feel like it's just any creative can glean from it,
Yes.
Even if it's a totally different thing. People who just don't live with the fear of man. Yeah. Stephanie specifically seriously just speaks to who I am. I hadn't seen that before because I grew up in church, but I was so used to the fast song, then the slow song, and then you sit down, and then you have the offering, and then you have it's just
worship
structure.
was just songs.
Yes.
It wasn't a life lived.
Right. But you look at her and she lives a life led by the Spirit.
Yeah. Do you feel like it feeds the creative in you?
Absolutely. When you live a life led by the Spirit, creativity just flows from that. And you don't really have to try or strive to be a creative. It just comes from the overflow.
Yeah.
And
it's good.
I mean, sometimes it's just word. I'll hear a word and I'm like, oh, I want to write more about that. Or I'll hear a phrase and I'm like, oh, I love that idea, or a concept, and you just are inspired to run with that. I don't currently struggle with the creative rut type and what we do is different because I feel like your job is to create for people, where right now that comes more so as not hobby, but you know what I mean, it's not my source of income right now. Right. And so I think
you're not
different.
Creating for a living.
It's different
right now.
Yeah, for us. But for me, I don't feel the creative rut thing because right now I'm able to do it as just a hobby and things I do with the Lord in my free time. Yeah. And so I've just lived in that flow and not put pressure on it, really.
Have you ever gotten into a creative rut?
Yes. I mean, I think it's those times when I deal with those like big emotions.
Yeah.
That I feel like I can feel like uninspired or, but just learning to let it be what it is. And like,
I like what you said about like it being the overflow.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I was talking about inspiration can come from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's like a river and it just flows and it just fills up your heart. It's filling up your cup.
Yeah.
If you allow inspiration in, if you allow yourself to see with new eyes and a new perspective, you could get inspired by a tractor. Like, I mean, I don't know why that's the first thing that popped in my head. But like, you know what I mean? Like I do believe that like
big green tractor.
If we live open, we'll be more creative. Not open like in a bad way where it's like we just allow anything to come in with no boundaries. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But I'm saying like
you just live your life like with open
yeah,
hands.
like just Lord, like what can we discover today? Like that kind of posture, I guess, is
and learning to see him in all things too.
Yes.
And it's not just like he's stuck in a church service.
Right. Like he infiltrates everything. People that I'm like most inspired by are like the people that are like you, or I'm going to name drop Destiny.
Okay.
But
Name drop.
or you know, Jessica, whomever, like people that just are so, they give me that permission just with their lives, like
Because they
even
know
in the little things that they do.
Right.
It's not even like how they create art. Like yes, their art does inspire me, your art does inspire me, your writing, stuff like that, but honestly, like the thing that inspires me the most is just seeing you live your life. Like same with Destiny, with all these other people, amazing people that we have around us. It's like that's what inspires me the most, because I'm like, if they can do that, then there's like permission for me to do that too. Like, and I can post my karaoke videos and not feel like weird shame for showing
for being
up
too much.
as who I am. I can like embrace that part of me. If they embrace that part of them, like that's permission for me.
Right.
And they do it in the right spirit. It's not, you know, from like the wrong place.
Yeah.
And I love that.
They can release those things because they know who they are.
Right.
And they're not like trying to figure that out through the eyes of other people.
They are whole. Their lives are
They're
created from wholeness.
Yes.
What's the most favorite thing you've created?
Well, obviously what I mentioned earlier, that you already are who you are becoming.
Oh, yes.
I think it was just a significant like mind shift for me. Wait on something green. Thing that I made, I had walked through something, and that was something the Lord promised me. Like, I felt like I had walked through shades of blue, and just it was in a lot of like sadness, and I felt like the Lord said, wait on something green. And it was just like a significant moment where it was like, I will wait until it's what he's promised me. And it spoke to many aspects of my life. It wasn't just one thing. I'm not referring to one thing, but it's like, and I just, even the song Green by Ben Rector is one of my favorite songs and will be forever, because like I can hear the promise of the Lord in that. And it's like, it even ties into like my childhood of like obsessed with the color green, and you already are who you are becoming, and then I'm waiting on something green. Like, what does that look like? It's already who I am, and I'm waiting on it.
There are traits and things within you, and it's not you striving to become it, but rather uncover it.
Yes.
Like uncover what's already there.
Right.
Which is,
I love that.
Something that I talk a lot about, like to my clients, because I'm like, we're not conjuring up something, you know, that doesn't already exist. Like, we're trying to get to that place in you and in like this vision, this dream that you have, because it came to you like for a reason. There might like, we need to lean into what we know, like, and what's there, and then just see kind of what happens.
I think that's
takes the
what's
striving out of it.
about your the branding questionnaire you give your clients at the beginning. It's like a lot of like, I kind of came at it because I obviously worked for you and saw the behind the scenes of what that what was behind the curtain of Wonder Creative. It takes a hot minute to finish that thing because it's like really deep questions, and it's like, why do you do what you do? Why do you need branding? Like, but it's even deeper than that. Like, what's your heart behind what you're doing?
Yeah.
And what's going to keep you going when you feel uninspired and all of that. And so I think that's one of the things that like really, I guess, surprised me in how challenging it was. Not even challenging, but how like reflective I had to be in that moment of like, okay, why do I want to do this?
A lot of people don't expect that because they view branding as just, like
Colors and fonts
and a logo. And it's like, you can get that. Like, you can go and invest in that.
Right.
And that's fine. But like, more so my heart is to work with people that are desiring to create brand experiences, not just a surface level thing. Like, people that are, deeply connected to what they do. Okay, so on the topic of All Things Liv, like, how has that evolved since we worked together?
So it's looked different.
Yeah.
For this season, which is, I've learned to be okay with it, even though it can be frustrating. But I think back to when I like wanted to do kind of this, I don't know if it was a rebrand or a new brand, because it kind of started as Honey Doodles and then moved to All Things Liv.
Right.
When I like felt that shift, it was something that I knew would last me like, maybe it will evolve, but I feel like it will last me like my whole life. And so I've had to be like, this isn't some like short-term thing for me, because I will always be a creative. I will always be creating.
You will always be Liv.
Right. Just like, it's not like, I don't need to put so much pressure on it, because like, and I am doing things, maybe not like I have songs that I'm working on, or different poems and blogs, whatever, but it's like, it's okay if I'm not like full throttle.
Yeah.
Like doing everything I want to be doing right now. Like, that's okay. And so I think right now it doesn't look exactly how I would dream of it looking, but I know that it's like, that's coming.
And this is a season for you to still experience like inner growth, because something that I always say is like, it all adds up. Like, if you can steward every season of your life, or every like journey, every detour, whatever it is, there's always something to learn from that season.
Right.
So like, even you not like doing full-time All Things Liv right now, there's still probably something to learn in this season, right? And you serving other people's businesses, like you being a blessing to other people, and I think that matters too. I mean, I can relate. Like, I kind of have structured some things a little bit differently in my business so that I can give myself creatively to things like the podcast.
Right.
This does not make me money. Yeah. Like, this isn't something that is, directly affecting my business right now, but it's something that it's always been in my heart to do. It's like, if I'm not going to do it now, then like, I'm never going to do it. Like, so I created space so that I can do the fun things.
Yes.
So like, I'm taken care of as far as like finances, and all of that. And in other ways, not just directly through client work. So that I can like give myself to some of these things that I know are building still like that foundation of Wonder Creative. So anyway, like tangent, but I in all of that, like, I think it's important to, just because you're not doing the full-time thing the way that you see it fully alive, like in your head, like, know where you're at. You're on the journey. Like, it's not like you're off, like you're still on the path. It doesn't have to look like what you envision it all the time. What was it like working with me?
It was a dream. So obviously working.
Answer honestly.
Oh, I just whacked this microphone.
It's okay.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to answer honestly.
For anyone that hasn't like worked with a designer or worked with a brand designer, you have the inside scoop of what that's like, and also being my friend.
Yes. Well, I didn't just reach out to you because you were my friend. If you weren't amazing at what you do, I would have reached out to someone else. But like, I really, even in working for you, saw the behind the scenes, and there is so much integrity and so much heart and passion and intentionality like behind what you do. And for me, it was like, of course, I want that for my brand. And so it was like a no-brainer for me to work with you.
Did you feel like like you could trust
Absolutely.
me and like the team?
Yes.
Andrew.
The team, Andrew.
The team, aka Andrew.
Yes, of course, because the benefits of being both of your, like, I feel very close to both of you,
Right.
is you really see my heart. I think that was a benefit of even working with you, is because it's like you, without me having to express things, I feel like I can just be like, you know me.
Yeah.
And not that I'm gonna
Which
leave
that was
all of
that was
the,
a nice little benefit for
yeah,
us.
not that I'm gonna
Yeah.
leave all of that weight in your hands or not express what I see or what I like envision.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like you get me, and so I felt free to, like,
Yeah.
leave some things in your hands, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it was amazing. I loved working with you.
What do you feel is next?
For me as a person,
Whatever.
in general, well, I've been working on a song called The Reintroduction. I've not announced this at all.
That's how we should have started the podcast.
So I've been working on this song. I've had it in my heart for a couple of years to do. And I don't remember how it came to me, but I just had this thing in me. Like, I wanted to write a song, or a whole album is what I hope it will eventually be. But that reintroduces the Lord to people that met him in religion, because that's how I met the Lord. And while there was parts of him that I feel like were real in those environments, it's like I didn't say it again.
And by religion, meaning like very
Oh yeah,
systematically.
I have to explain. Yeah, systematically
just in case
way
for
of
people-
yes, a very systematic way of thinking, and like there's right and wrong. It's very black and white.
He's mad.
He is mad. He is very like he's a judge, and he judges through the lens of anger.
Right.
And just all of these misconceptions I had.
Yeah. Yes.
And that he's disappointed in me and how I'm created and all of these things. And so I
Things
just
that man has made God to be.
Right.
And not who he truly
right.
is.
And so I just want to write to the heart that met him and thinking that he's that way. Like, it can be so confrontational to the way that you think about the Lord. And in the things that I've learned, it's been very confrontational to even my own mind. And I think sometimes when people see the things that I post or whatever, they can get upset with it. But to me, it's more so been like, you're upset with the mystery. Like, you're upset with not having him figured out. I'm a little bit nervous to put the song out because it's just very like, I feel like I could really make some people mad because, and it's not even me, it's the Lord, so they can be mad at him. But like,
He can take it.
he can take it. I'm very excited to put it out, but at the same time, I'm a little bit nervous because I just feel like people might be upset with like people don't like to be confronted with the way that they think sometimes. So
And we need a music video.
yes, I really want to do it so bad. I have so many ideas for it. So
Where are you
that will be
at in
coming.
that process with the song?
So the song's like finishing up now. Like it's pretty close to being, or it might be done. I need to listen through it a few more times just to see if I want to make any changes, but that's pretty much it. I would love to do a music video for it because there's a lot of like visuals I see in my head that would really help with that.
Yeah.
Like expressing the song in the fullness of how I see it, but
Yeah.
we'll see. I need to create the album art for it and do all the Spotify and Apple Music things, which I have no idea how to do. So
Do you have the song, like, you have the master of it or no?
I mean, I have the recording where it's like pretty much finished, but I don't think it's a master. I don't know what
I don't know what
I'm doing. I've never put out music before.
I just know that Taylor Swift lost her masters and she bought them back, and so I figured that.
Not comparing me to Taylor Swift.
I know. I just figured that's like a song term.
Yeah. So I don't have them. I'm figuring it out as I go. So
It's beautiful.
yep.
It's beautiful. You're living messy.
Living messy. Splatter paint the walls.
Yep, there you go. Speaking of Taylor Swift,
Speaking
this is something I've wanted to say on the podcast that I have, and I actually may assess this in another episode. But I know you're not like a huge Taylor Swift fan. You're just not a fan.
I think she's very creative.
Super creative.
And I love her intentionality.
Yes. I think she is someone that utilizes her own brand so well. What she does is create like entire worlds surrounding her albums.
Yes.
And then like it's like becomes such a thing. Like she leans into like what makes her Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And now she's going on this like Eras tour that is like all like embracing everything that she has created.
Yeah.
Like she has such a passion for her own brand and makes it like a thing, you know, like, which I know she's a celebrity, so of course, but like
fans are nuts.
Right. And like she like listens to her fans. I don't know like the inward parts of her heart, you know, like whatever, but I just think just looking at it just very objectively, just as like her creative self and her brand, I find it so fascinating. And I'm like, that's what I want my clients to do. Like whenever we work together, I want
Be
you
Taylor Swift.
Well, I just want you to like embrace it.
Right.
Like really make it a thing. Show up powerfully. Yeah. Connect to your community. Like let that be something that bridges. Like that's what we talk about. Like in the branding process of like, let this bridge your world to the world of other people that you're trying to reach with your message. Like that's the whole point of like you creating a brand. Like you created All Things Liv, obviously because it's an expression of your heart. There is a bee or a wasp in your room.
That's good.
I just hope it doesn't fly in here. I was gonna bring you wasp spray. I forgot.
You know, I'm like terrified of wasps.
I know. Which is interesting because you
I don't know why.
Bees at one point.
No, I still love
wasps
bees.
Are,
wasps are not it.
I have like a million bees. You know
like,
those two bushes next to my door? There's like a million bees in them.
Yeah, I love them. Like if a bee was in here, I'd be like, oh, cute, you can stay. No, wasp, I'm going to kill you. Actually, I'm going to make Chloe kill you.
I don't have anything to kill it with.
You're going to grab a towel and
I don't do flying killing. Like
you do walking killing?
I mean, I don't like killing flying
because they can fly at you.
Yes.
Are you sure it's in my room?
Yeah, I saw it like fly above your window.
Oh, goody.
How do they get in?
I have no idea.
Is there a window open?
No. I don't know how they get in.
Who is mowing? Because now that's all I hear. No.
Oh, we're right here too.
Okay, so all that to say, Taylor Swift utilizes her brand greatly, and now there's a mower outside, so we're just gonna have to be done. But I'm glad that we got to the good parts.
Yes,
is there anything else you wanted to say? Anything else you feel in your heart?
No.
How can people connect with you if they want to connect with you?
I have an Instagram called All Things Liv with 2 V's. I think it has 2 V's, yeah.
I don't know, my phone.
And then my website's allthingsliv.co.
That's right.
So you can find me on there. I have blogs. I'm working on...
Oh my God, it's so loud. I'm sorry to everybody listening. Okay, they stop.
Okay, I'm working on getting blogs out. I want to get out blogs more consistently.
Yes.
I work well off schedules. I'm very I like planning out things. So I want to get a schedule where I'm sending out blogs more consistently too. So that's something I'm working on. Awesome. So you can find me on my website, Instagram.
Beautiful.
Email. No one's going to email me.
Email.
I love you very much.
I love you.
And I celebrate you. And I love your podcast. And I'm so excited for you. And I sing her theme song all the time.
My theme song. So thank you everybody for listening.
Hit it, DJ. This wonder in you. It's been there the whole time. Just keep looking up and open up your eyes. Don't get lost in the crowd. You were made to stand out. The Wonder Creative Podcast. Yeah!
Look at the lines.